So here we are. Here we are. And tonight is the night. This right here, this is Christmas. This is Christmas. Now I know that for many weeks, and really way too long, there's been something going on out there. Something. It's happening all through America for weeks, you know, that Americans have been calling Christmas. I know they have. I know they have. But it wasn't. None of it was. It wasn't. No matter how it was labeled, no matter how it was marketed, none of that was Christmas. And here's how I know it wasn't. I'll tell you how I know. Because those who participated in that, whatever that was, usually ended up edgy. Any old time you want to give me an amen on this, it's okay. Edgy, irritated, all right, frustrated, and often in debt. All right. Now, I hear good people, good-hearted people, and I've heard it more than once in just this last week. I'm not looking at anybody who said, "Is it almost over yet?" I'm not looking up. As though Christmas is some kind of terrible marathon that we have to run through to the bitter end. Now that can't be Christmas. It can't be. So whatever that was, I dropped out of it quite a while ago. I just did, and let me tell you, you can too. You absolutely can. I recommend it. And like some sort of heavenly subtraction problem, listen to me using a math illustration. Yeah, if you know me well, that's pretty funny. You take the month of December, okay, and then you subtract everything that has the title Christmas on it. Christmas parties, Christmas socials, Christmas specials, Christmas galas. Subtract all of those. Just swipe them off of your calendar. Subtract them. And then you subtract all gift giving to everyone under the age of, except for those under the age of 18. Everyone in your life, if they are over the age of 18. Only give presents to children. And what you have is something a whole heck of a lot more sane. Now, a moment to consider what Christmas is really about is what you'll have left. And that is Christmas. Get rid of all of the crazy traditions that you think you have to keep up with, or that somebody else thinks you have to keep up with. I preached about that 2 weeks ago, under the heading, Making Idols. It's not necessary, and it'll make you nuts. Now, our college students, James and Hannah and Anna, read Luke's version of the Christmas story, which was written about 70 years after it actually happened. There's a different telling of the story in Matthew's Gospel, but the one from Luke is the one that we especially like. Luke is a good storyteller, so let's take a look at it. find yourself in the story. That makes it even better. I promise you that you're there, because that's the wonderful thing about this story. It's thousands of years old, and it never leaves anyone out. Luke tells about the registration of the known world. That's a census. It's not a tax. It's a registration. Although then, as now, we suspect that once powers, particularly oppressive powers, know who we are and where we are, there's likely to be some terrible consequences once they track us down. And taxes may be one of them. So everyone is required to go to his own city of birth. Is anyone here tonight returning from somewhere else to his own city of birth? I knew one person was for sure. It was easy. Well, did anyone come from quite a distance to visit relatives? I knew just a few. How was your trip? Long, and probably troubling. Once you get through TSA, and especially if you're traveling with small children, it's a bit to figure out. Well, that's how it was for this young couple as well. It would have taken 8 to 10 days to travel the 100 miles from Nazareth to Bethlehem. They did it, well, Joseph did it on foot. Mary did it on her donkey. And she was, well, as my mother would say, very pregnant. It was one of her favorite phrases. When they got to Bethlehem, the only place they could find was in a room on the ground floor of a guest house where the animals were kept. So how is it to sleep away from home in somebody else's house? I know you can't say. You slept really well, I know. You have to say that, but it's never the same. It's never the same. It's never as comfortable as your own home. Never is. No matter how hard people try to make it comfortable, it's never as comfortable, and usually it takes you 1 or 2 nights to get comfortable, and then it's almost time to go home. It's just the way it is. And especially with a family living out of a suitcase, you can fill in the rest for yourself. I know how it is. I do it frequently. I know how it is. It isn't ideal. It isn't glorious. It isn't majestic. This is the most unlikely birth story of a personage who is supposed to become someone so glorified. So what's the purpose of that? Why does Luke make such a point of telling a birth story about Jesus and makes it sound so uncomfortable? We all know what that kind of travel and rough stay is like. Why? Well, part 2, as Anna read to us, the scene changes to the shepherds. Do we have any shepherds here tonight? No shepherds? No, and I don't have any in my family either, so I wasn't expecting anyone to raise hands. So I didn't think we would. Do we have any teachers here tonight? Yes. That's pretty close to shepherds. Pretty darn close. But seriously, did you notice that the shepherds are out in the fields? Everyone else is going to be registered, but the shepherds are out in the fields. They haven't even bothered to go get registered. Did you notice that? What's that about? Shepherds are part of the underclass. They are so much the underclass. They aren't worth counting, or at least they don't think they're worth counting. They don't think they're worth being taken account of. shepherds, wherever they appear in Scripture, represent a group that does work that must be done, but no one wants to do. That's who shepherds are, and that's who shepherds represent. It's a thankless task. It requires full-time, 24/7 dedication. You receive little pay for it, and you spend all your time with smelly sheep. So you smell like sheep, and so no one wants to be around you. You are truly an outcast. Shepherds. No one invites you to any kind of a Christmas party. So I want you to notice, because this is no small point, of all the people crowding into Bethlehem the night that Jesus was born, during this census taking, of all the people in the crowds that might have been invited to this first genuine Christmas party, who actually gets an invitation to the birth? Who does? Tell me. Those darn shepherds. The shepherds. Angels get sent. And angels don't just go hovering around all the time like Roma Downey touched by an angel. They're not just out there looking for the next case. These angels come down, they have a job to do, and then they go, as Hannah told us, they go immediately back to heaven. They got commission to do this, and then boom, they're back. They just don't go floating around by people's shoulders. They went, and they were told, go tell those shepherds. Remember, Psalm 23 refers to God as a shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. Jesus calls himself the good shepherd. I know my flock, and my flock knows me. It is no small literary quirk of Luke. It is good sound theology. God seeks out those who have the least, who are the least, and lifts them up. And why? This is a just God, a God of justice. And it's something we forget all the time at our peril. The angels are sent to invite the lowliest to the moment when God comes and for a time walks with us and lives with us face to face. Emmanuel, God with us. So the shepherds come just as we all came tonight. Probably each of us for different reasons. Some of those shepherds believed exactly what the angels told them. Some perhaps believed but doubted and wanted more information, and that's why they went to the manger. Some may have gone along with the other shepherds just because the others were going and for no other reason. But the shepherds went to the manger, and we have come to the manger. This is Christmas. This is the way Luke tells the story of the birth of Jesus Christ, Emmanuel. Why would he tell it so bluntly? Really? Why would he soft pedal such a humble arrival? Well, this, my friends, is the point of Christ. This is the point of Christmas. And this is the point of being a Christian. Because of this humble birth tells us who God is, why God came among us, and how we should be with others. God's intention always is to be present with us. God is with us, with the most humble of us. And God is with us when we are in our most humble moments. God with us. Emmanuel. Amen.